Okay, I'm now going to cover off finding the right property. Who has a property preference at the moment? Go for it. Yep, what's your property preference right now?
More of two-bed.
Okay.
Single occupancy.
Okay.
Terrace flats.
Right. So you're looking at basically couples, single parents with child.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Property value, roughly?
Below 100.
Excellent.
Around 70, 80.
Okay. Anyone else different from that? Who has what they class as an unusual buying criteria? Who looks at big properties, expensive? Anyone you're investing over 150,000 in a property at the moment? Okay. HMOs, standard buy-to-lets, yeah?
HMOs.
Okay, all HMOs?
Yeah.
Anyone spending that kind of money on just a typical property, 2-3 bed? Please all say no. Anyone buying in London at the moment? Any reason why? You're all Londoners, aren't you?
Well, I'm looking for a personal house.
Ah, right, that doesn't count.
No one.
That doesn't count. No one buying in London at the moment now? Why is that?
The figures don't stack up.
Exactly. Okay. What I'm going to cover off, it's a couple of things. One of the questions the gentleman at the back asked, I believe it was how to calculate what works and what doesn't work yet, percentage-wise.
Your model, yes.
Yeah, okay. So understanding what the right property is and understand what suits you as well. As I said, I've covered off HMOs earlier on. They are great properties. They pay a big return. HMOs typically, tell me if I'm wrong, 18, 19, 20, 25, maybe 30% yield on them sometimes, if you're lucky. Yeah. Are they easy to find? Yes, they can be if you know the areas to look in. Are they easy to manage? No, but they give you a great yield. Who knows how to calculate? In fact, no. Hands up. Who's got a mobile phone on them? Okay. Hands up who has a calculator on their mobile phone. Hands up who knows how to use the calculator on their mobile phone. Excellent. Hands went less and less and less then. Okay. Very simple equation to work out. You walk to an estate agent. You're out and about walking the dog on a Saturday. Look at a local estate agent. Look at a few house prices. And it has let-ins and sales. So you do a few comparables. It's very easy to do. Or just walk in and get some of their rental leaflets. Hands up who knows how to work out basic yield against mortgage or against the purchase price of a property. This is a very simple thing to do. Write this down. There is a test at the end. It's not really. I was rubbish in school at tests anyway. Okay, if you want to work out a very basic yield, okay, you multiply your monthly rental income. So, for example, you've gone to an estate agent and said, that's a nice 3-bed family house. How much can you rent it for? Mr. Estate Agent says, £550 a month. Okay, great. So you multiply that number by 12. Okay, Mr. Estate Agent, how much is it up for sale for? How much could I physically buy that house for now? So what you do then, you divide the annualized rental income by that purchase price. That will then give you a decimal figure. What you do then is multiply that by 100, and that actually gives you a percentage.
Right, hang on. So it's rent times 12.
Rent times 12,
Right.
divide that by the purchase price, and then that will give you a figure, and it might be something like 0.08 or 0.9 or whatever. Multiply that by 100, and that then gives you a percentage. Now, hands up, who's going to tell me what the best, what the minimum percentage you would look for would be?
7, 8.
Who said 6?
Minimum.
Okay. Okay.
Because I've seen one here in 7 sites 6.
Yeah. You will occasionally get them as low as 6%. Typically, that's only if there's a high amount of cash back in them. Benchmark 9%, 8 to 9%. Don't look to do anything less than that. Forget what you see on the website. If there's cash back, you might get a lower percentage on it. But typically, to get a good buy-to-let property, you need to be looking at 8 to 9. This is my personal preference. Well, personal preference is 12% and above. Because hands up who thinks you can buy a house, and for the next 25 years that you own it, it's not going to cost you a penny. Hand went up and down very quickly, yeah. Reality is you will need to spend money on it. Whether it's after 12 months decorating it, bit of paint, carpets, putting some new cupboards on the kitchen cabinets, things like that, it will cost you money. How much does an average boiler cost to replace nowadays in a 2-bedroom home? Yeah, exactly. So contingency, always build some contingency into your actual yield. So 8 to 9%, yeah, great, you're going to make a nice little profit on a property. It's going to pay for itself. It will give you a little bit of money you can put to one side, but typically aim 10% and above. So you've got that money there. One thing you should never do as an investor is have to go to your own bank account to subsidise your own properties. Defeats the object. Hands up here who's self-employed, runs their own business. Okay? If your business was struggling one month, would you go and pull money out of your own personal account to subsidise your business? All say no. Exactly. Yeah? Have you? Don't do it with property. But you have the benefit within property to say that you can dictate what works for you and what doesn't. Unfortunately, business doesn't work like that. With a property, you can say, if it doesn't yield me 12% or 10% every single month, I'll walk away from it. Unfortunately, business isn't always that flexible. But from day one with property, you can pretty much control what your income is going to be from it. But always make sure you have some contingency, unless the cashback amount dictates that you have enough money there to cover off a good period of time. If you get a cashback and it covers off 2 years or 3 months or 3 years of any shortfall, then great. If it doesn't, then don't bother with it. So when you're buying a property, what controlling factor do you have? What's the one thing that you can control? Exactly, purchase price. Every other aspect of it you have no control over. You go and see a house, it looks amazing, the yield is 20%, it's 35% below market value. You go to buy it, sorry, it's just been sold. Can you control that? No, you can't. What you can control, as the gentleman said, is the amount of money that you actually pay for that property. Anyone here have a property that does yield 12% and above, taking out HMOs? Anyone? 12%, yeah? Do you mind if I ask what it's yielding roughly at the moment?
It's yielding about 12.5%.
Okay, so it's marginal. 12% is a fairly good ballpark figure to work with. Ways to increase your rental income? Good way of doing it. Simple. It is as simple as that. Because somebody's been paying £450 a month for a rental of a property, you put new tenants in there. Is there anything that says you have to charge the new tenants £450? No. So ways to increase that rental income, what can you do?
Increase the value.
Exactly.
Increase the pivotal for the bank.
Who's ever used a paintbrush?
What if I can avoid it?
Yeah, exactly. The position to get in is to actually have enough in the bank as an investor to say, I'll get professionals in to do it. Or be really cheeky and write to people like 60-Minute Makeover and things like that to do it for you. But as I said, you have to be cheeky. So yeah, as I said, how to achieve higher rental income. Ask. If you've got tenants in there on a 6-month AST, after the end of the 6 months, you say there's a rent increase. Rental demand at the moment is through the roof. Who's struggling at the moment to get tenants? Why is that? What can you get at the moment if you're a first-time buyer?
Can't get more.
Exactly. So what do you have to do?
Increase the rent.
Exactly. So if there's ever a time to start looking at how long you got left on your ASTs and looking at ways to increase the actual value, it's amazing. You could spend £1,000 on a property and you can increase the rental income by about £100 sometimes. Worth looking at. If it costs you more than over a year's potential rental profit on it to do it, then don't bother. So if you're looking at £1,000, get down to carpet right, floors to go, any of these cheap and cheerful places. They're always on the telly. They've always got a sale on. See what they got. £1 a square metre. Get some nice flooring in there. Don't spend a lot, but things like that will make a difference. If you just kick some tenants out after 6 months on their AST and you want to show some prospective new tenants around, if you spend £400 putting new flooring in, a bit of paint, it can make an enormous difference. For the sake of that small amount of money, you can increase the rental income. Never be ashamed, embarrassed, nervous, or shy to ask for more money. It's your property. They are going to live there. If they think it justifies the actual rent, then they will pay it.